Hello and welcome to my course on AI automation powered by n8n. In this lesson, I just wanted to give you an overview of how n8n looks like. We will build a very basic workflow in this lesson so that you get a taste of how the automation looks like. In the last lesson, you already have seen the power of automation, and I agree it was very simple business process, but still there was no manually copying of data, no manually sending of emails, no manually sending of messages. Everything happened automatically and it was all powered by n8n. So welcome to this world of n8n, the ultimate source available automation tool that gives you full control of your automation world. With all this automation context behind us, let's quickly jump into what actually is n8n. Well, n8n is a powerful open source or source available automation platform that lets you connect hundreds of apps, create custom workflows, or even create AI agents for you so that you don't have to do work yourself and the AI agents are working for you, and all this happens without you writing a single line of code. Three things in my opinion that makes n8n a game changer is the first one, which is more like workflow based pricing, so that you don't pay hefty bill at the end of a month. Unlike other popular automation tools in the industry, you don't have to pay per task or per operation or per step. You have to only pay for the execution of entire workflow, and that workflow can be simple or that workflow can be very complex with hundreds of data points and hundreds of nodes. You will still be charged for one workflow execution. So the pricing becomes more predictable in nature and the budgeting aspect becomes much more easier. Second aspect is you can pretty much download it, self-host it in your cloud, on your machine, in your local environment, or get an enterprise version or cloud version of n8n. Whatever your choice is, you have full control over here. There is no vendor locking. You have full control of your business logic and the data. Third one is the advanced workflows or complex workflows it supports and the AI powered automations. n8n lets you create complex workflows with variety of conditional logic nodes that it provides. It can split data, combine data, merge data. So many data transformation options are available, and then there is a code node and an HTTP node that helps you virtually connect to any app and write any kind of logic if you are a little bit into coding, or if you can take help of ChatGPT to write the code or expressions yourself. So with n8n, you are not just doing some basic automations of your business processes, rather you can create some very complex AI powered, smart, intelligent workflows that can completely change the way you do business, that can completely scale your business and your time. Probably when you just started exploring or googling this concept of automation or AI automation, you might have come across other automation tools as well, such as Make.com, Zapier, or IFTTT. But here is the problem with other tools. The first one is the expensive nature of them. If you look at Make.com or Zapier, they are going to charge you per task, per operation, per step. That may be useful in those simple business automation cases. However, when the business automation use case becomes very complex with hundreds of operations, hundreds of data processing nodes, then it is a problem, because you cannot predict how much operations, how much steps, how much tasks will be there, what will be the end cost of executing one workflow, and at the end of the month you are left with a hefty bill to pay. Second key difference is the way they handle complex business workflows. If your business workflow is complex, requires external data systems or external databases to be connected, then this is where the system will start showing their shortcomings. The third one is the vendor lock-in. With n8n, you can just download it, host it like I just said. In these systems, only the cloud version is available, where you would get logged into the way they are handling the business processes and the data. That's exactly where n8n is different, and that's why thousands of developers, businesses, and automation experts are shifting to n8n platform to take their business automations or automations in general to the next level. But stay tuned, because in the next lesson I'm going to deep dive into 15 differences that exist between n8n, Make.com, and Zapier, so that you have a thorough understanding before making that decision on which automation tool is right for you. Now, since we'll be building automation workflows in n8n, the core concepts of an automation workflow still remains the same. n8n allows us to connect different nodes working together to create a one common workflow for you, which will power your automation. The n8n platform lets us build these automation workflows, which comprise of various nodes connected to each other. Now, what are nodes? Nodes are the individual steps in n8n automation workflow. They perform actions like triggering a workflow, moving data between different apps, running calculation or AI analysis, or connecting to AI services or AI APIs, so that you can embed AI into your workflow, or they can send emails, messages to different platforms which are there. Think of nodes as worker on an assembly line. Each worker does their job, so each node does their job so that they can process the data and move it to the next person. So you can see that in n8n, everything is a node connected to each other, each one doing its own job, and all these nodes, they come in different categories or different flavors. And in the higher level categories, the first one is the trigger nodes. These are the nodes which tells the workflow to wake up and start doing the job. For example, an email coming to a Gmail inbox, a row added to a Google Sheet, an entry to your CRM system, or it could be at a scheduled time or at regular intervals like every Monday 7 a.m. All these are kind of trigger nodes that tells your workflow to wake up and start doing the job. Then comes wide variety of data transforming nodes that lets you filter your data, segment your data, route your data, or transform your data. In this course, we are going to deep dive into each of these nodes and understand fully where they belong, how they are used, why they should be used, and which scenarios they should be used. So don't go anywhere and stay tuned to the course. And finally, there are action nodes that completes your workflow, such as sending a Slack message or a Teams message or a WhatsApp message or Telegram or Discord. There are so many types of services or apps that you can connect and send messages to. Or the final action could be sending an email or creating a document or saving an entry to a database. Now let me share my screen and deep dive into our first automation workflow. Although you have seen one in the last lesson, but in this one I'm going to explain all these concepts that we just learned about. So let's go to the screen. Alright, you are looking at the n8n cloud version where I have logged in using my credential, my subscription. I am paying them so that I can use their cloud interface, but you can install n8n on your own local machine as well. And we are going to talk about in detail how to install it, how to use your local instance, why you should use the cloud version of it, and many other things in the next lesson, where I am going to deep dive into n8n web interface as well. And what you are seeing on the top over on the left hand side, there are so many icons. I'm going to talk about all of them, but right now let's just focus upon the first workflow that we are going to build in this hands-on lab. So as you can see on the interface, I have something called a sticky note where I have included the description of the business process or the workflow we are going to build. And in the last lesson, I told you the best practice of any automation strategy or any kind of automation building process is to map out your business workflow in easy and simple steps. Map out what are triggers, what actions you need to take, and what basically data filtering or data operations that you have to do. So over here, I have done that only. I have divided my workflow into 4 key steps. First one is listening for incoming emails, which will act as a trigger for waking up the workflow and taking some action. The second one is checking if the email has an attachment or not. Only if the email has attachment, then only the rest of the workflow continues, otherwise not. So for that, we are going to filtering the data that is coming in, and then third step would be we are going to process the data. That means we are going to save the file into a specific folder on my Google Drive. And finally, I would be sending a message to my team or myself on Discord. So you can see that I have written it in plain English in generic terms so that you can map this business process to other apps or services as well. At the top in the title, we are saying that we'll be using 3 services or apps, which is more like we are listening into Gmail emails which are coming into my inbox. Then we are going to save the files on the Google Drive. We are going to send the message on Discord, right? These 3 apps or services we are using. However, some other individual or business might be following the same process. However, they are using different services. Instead of Gmail, they are using Apple Mail. Instead of Google Drive, they might be using OneDrive. Instead of Discord, they might be using Slack or Telegram or even WhatsApp, right? So that's why it is important to map the business process in generic terms items. So that's what we have done. Now what we are going to look at it, I'm going to zoom out a bit, where you would see couple of workflows. At the bottom you see a bigger one, at the top you are seeing a smaller version of it. What we are going to do in this lesson is we are going to focus upon the top one, which is a more simple version of it. For the second one on the screen, I am going to create a dedicated video for my YouTube channel, so stay tuned over there as well, and probably I'll add it to the course as well once that video is published on YouTube channel, because the second one talks about multiple email attachments and consolidating the messages that are going to be sent. But for now, let's come back to our workflow, which we'll keep it very simple because this is going to be the first one. So as you see, the entire workflow is nothing but collection of different nodes, and there is a Gmail node, there is a filter node, there is a Google Drive node, and there is a Discord node. And again folks, don't worry, because we are going to talk about all these nodes, what these nodes are, in subsequent lessons, which are going to be upcoming ones in the course. However, over here these 4 nodes are there. What I'll do is I'll show you the environment as well. This is the Google Drive where we are going to upload the files. This is my email box, which is tied to this workflow. As you can see, there is one email that has an attachment, which is GenAI Unplugged. And then there is another email that has 3 attachments. And as I said, I'm going to take care of this use case later sometime in next video, or some other video. And final action was sending the message to the Discord channel. So you can see I have my Discord server up and running, which is by GenAI Unplugged. There is an automated messages channel which is hooked to this particular workflow, where the message should arrive as soon as the workflow is successfully run. So now let's go back and give a test run to our workflow. So I'm going back over here. As you can see, there is a button at the bottom which says test workflow. I'm just going to click it, and you will see the workflow executing, and boom. And you can see that workflow has been successfully executed. So it went through my Gmail box, it fetched an item, then it filtered those items. See, it says kept. So that means it found an email that has an attachment. It uploaded to the Google Drive. These tick mark says, or check mark says, that it has successfully being executed. There is no error. So then moving on, there is a Discord. So one item or one message has been sent to Discord channel as well. So as we see, so there is this file, we can open it up, and you can see GenAI Unplugged is over here. Then if I go to my email box, if I click on this one, so this was the input, this was the email that it basically pulled in. So as soon as it pulled this email, it uploaded it on the Google Drive. And if I open up my Discord, so you can see attachment saved successfully for the email forward attachment test. So now if I look at the email, you can see the subject is over there. So that's how the message is coming, that it is showing the subject of the email. Now let's explore what's inside there in these notes, and don't worry about what is there. If you are not able to understand, I'm just going to show you how I have configured it briefly, right? So that you can understand what logic is there. As the rest of the course progresses, we are going to deep dive into all these properties and the fields which are there. So in order to open up the settings, I need to double click it. So as soon as I double clicked it, you can see in the middle, the node settings have opened. On the left hand side of it, you can see that whatever is incoming thing, because it's a trigger node, it's the first node, that's why it says fetch test event, which is more like or start the workflow if it is a manual trigger. But over here it needs to fetch an event. It is an event based trigger, so that's why you can see on the left hand side it is fetch test event is there. On the right hand side is the section where what is going to be outputted by this node. So if I click on fetch test event, it is going to fetch the email which is there, which is the first email that has an attachment. It is coming as attachment in the binary section of it. At the top you can see I have table, JSON, binary and schema. You can explore all of this. If I click on table, it shows me that email data that it has pulled in. It has an ID of the email which is there in my email box, the thread ID, labels which are there. Then it has size estimate, headers, HTML, text as HTML, subject is also there. So you can see the body will also be there. So you can see that all the email details are present and being outputted into the right hand section of this node. So now if we go back, it has successfully fetched our first item. We'll go back and see this is being inputted into filter node. So again, for filter node, we will open up the properties of the filter node by double clicking it. So if I double click it, now the node properties are in the middle. On the left hand side, what is coming inside into this node from the previous node output is being shown. So this is the input that we are seeing. You can see binary is available for the filter node. Then JSON is also available for the filter node. Table is also available. So howsoever you want to see the data, it is available and you can access it. Different properties, different expressions are there. So you can extract all this data into your properties of the filter node, work on it. So over here, I have Gmail trigger.item.binary. Again, we are going to cover in detail how we need to form these expressions and all. But for now, just imagine that we are just checking a binary file exists or not. If yes, there should be an output over here. So if I click on the test tab, you can see that the email that was provided as an input to this node has attachment. So that's why it says in the kept item branch of it that yes, condition has been successfully met. So now what we are going to do is again go back to canvas. Now that the condition has been met, we have successfully fetched an email item that has a valid attachment. We are going to look at the Google Drive. As you can see, again, this attachment is coming as an input because the condition was met for the filter node. You can access all the previous nodes over here. So it says one node back, two nodes back. You can access the properties, but over here we just need to work on the previous node. So I'll select the filter node, which is by default selected. You can see attachment is there. And what I have done is I have configured my Google Drive credentials to it. So you can create new credentials over here, or you can use an existing one. So I already have an existing one, so that's what I have already selected. So that's my Google account too. And we are going to talk about in detail how you need to set up all these credentials in more videos and more lessons, which are going to come in the subsequent part of this course. So as of now, credentials are set. There is a file operation that we are going to work upon. We are not going to work upon folder. That's what it is set over here. Then operation is upload, and you can see I have attachment_0, which is the name of the file that is being inputted into this Google Drive node. That's what I have mentioned, that you have to upload this file, and the name of the file that you will be uploading is, which is more like the message ID that is there. I can easily change the expression to say file name uploaded, or let me say uploaded_file name. So now you can see the preview of the output. The message ID uploaded file name is coming over here. So at the bottom, I have parent drive. Parent drive is my Google Drive, which is selected over here. If I want to select, from list, from URL, from ID, that those configurations are there. Then at the bottom, last option is from list. I want to select hands-on labs. And as I showed you that my drive, and in that I have another folder, n8n course material, in which I have this hands-on labs folder or directory that is selected over here. So as I click on this test step, it is going to upload the file. As you can see, the output is there. The file has been uploaded. All the properties are outputted so that we can further access this file uploaded on the Google Drive later in the workflow. And you can see that now I have a new file over here, which has a message ID _uploaded_file name. And you remember that we just changed or updated this setting in our Google Node Drive. So now this is also successfully executed. We go back. The final step is sending the message over Discord. Again, I'll click on it. You can see all the data from the Google Drive node is coming in as an input. We can use that. I can use this name over here. However, I can also go back and choose any of these nodes and the output from it. So over here, what you can see is that, let me expand a bit. So you can see that I have attachment saved successfully for the email, and then an expression is there. Again, we are going to talk about the expression. I'm just pulling in the subject. So that's why you see attachment saved successfully for the email forward:attachment test. Again, pardon my typos in the attachment spelling over here. If I just let me close it, I go back, I click on test tab, and you can see that node has been successfully executed. You might have heard a little beep as well. That's a message notification on my Discord. Attachment successfully saved for the email forward attachment test. Now let's go back onto our canvas, and you can see all the 4 steps have been successfully executed. One thing you might have noticed that I've hard-coded the file name over here. How about if there are multiple files coming in? So how do you handle that? That thing I'm going to cover, like I said, in my other video, which is going to explain what the other nodes are, what this split out mode is, what this get all file names node is. I'm going to talk about all that in detail so that you can make your workflow in a robust manner, in a manner that you can deploy it for yourself, so that you start saving the attachments that are there, maybe based on different logic, to your Google Drive instead of keeping in the Gmail itself. So this time there is real congratulations to you, because you have successfully built your first automated workflow. And if this is the use case that you were trying to solve in your life, you have got the answer how to automate this process. But again, this is very, very high level. We are going to deep dive into each of these aspects, how it works, why it works, what these properties are, what all options are there on this n8n interface. So stay tuned guys, stay tuned to my channel, stay tuned to this course.